So last week, nothing, traveling. The week before, new sites, talked about already, schedule for the next release, things to do. And if it hasn't been done, I will do it now that I'm back at work. And that was it, the demo was nothing. Today. Today, demos.
I would have a small one.
Topics. Maybe a quick triage. Does anyone have a topic? Anyone have a demo? Okay, status. Go on to the one. Also the one, old stuff, new stuff actually, new stuff. Revert cloning doesn't overwrite identity. Okay, they found an issue with that and they reverted it. That's good. I saw some comment, but during a triage, we didn't have a chance to do the triage. We're busy with an issue that was found in Azure Core. Azure Core, so last time was actually 27. So here, let me filter on the main branch. Updating mkdocs, remove state machine from the action. In case that's a way to not use the async calls if the result is not async. Just a trick from Marco that he applies everywhere he can for perf reasons. Optimization of AddTokenToPath. Culture insensitive comparison for invalid autoroute path. Culture insensitive. I remember this triage when we merged all these issues. Okay. Add page filter to NotifyFilter. So that we can also get notifications on Razor pages, I assume. Fixes contain item routes unicity. Probably some validation messages with contain routes. Reminder is that the content item can have contain items which can have routes, and this is validating that each route is unique. Extension method for site setting deployments. Yeah, so this was the code before to register deployment source. And now there is an action method that does all these stuff, but with just one call like this. You see? Okay. Configure ApiExplorer at the tenant level. because it should not be registered at the host level. At the same time, there is some, it's specific to the .NET 6, a recent change they made to fix that. Liquid IntelliSense Monaco. We merged this big PR. I think there was an issue with a missing file, we see later, but this is adding IntelliSense for Liquid in the Monaco editor. Fixed taxonomy for PowerShell, MailKit and MimeKit updates, update command for project templates 1.0, okay. Documentation, yep. New contributor, new Cypress version, reduce allocations, so performance change. Yeah. Not creating a new string builder every time, just using the Z string builder, which is on the stack. CodeMirror update, Monaco editor update, Fontawesome icon semantics fix. Wow. Okay. Flow alignment always render as left aligned. I remember we asked for a screenshot. I didn't follow up then with the PR. New contributor, fixed rendering of workflow modal dialogs. Okay. Was wrong. So August 5. So 5 days between Cypress 8.1 and Cypress 8.2. Fontawesome update, fix, release, Docker publish script. So this is interesting because this was a change we already knew about during a meeting. And I had the change, but it was not saved or it was not pushed. And then on Thursday, we found out that the tag with the version number was not shipped correctly. And because it was missing that, so I just saved and pushed on main. I didn't tag it, so it didn't republish anything. But I assume we could tag. We could put that on the release branch also and tag it again to get this version pushed, the 1.0 pushed on the Docker Hub. But latest will work with 1.0. So I assume that's fine. Just keep latest and then the next release, it will work again and we'll have a 1.0.1 also tag. Yeah, it was non-existent and then it will fail. Fixing build on 6.0 previous 7 because in previous 7 they included the notion of implicit using, which is by default in web projects, and then it broke some things which can be resolved by removing that thing here. So remember we added that tag to ensure that Razor files will not use C#9 constructs, otherwise it will fail at runtime compilation. And but it's not necessary. So, but by removing that, it's not failing anymore on .NET 6 builds.
Which language version will it be picking up then?
What do you mean? because it's just for.
That force set it to 8 because we had the problem with 9 on Razor. So does that mean the lang version's gone to latest?
Probably.
Cool.
But what did it fix here?
So the fix was when we went to lang version 9, you were getting some compilation errors on Razor pages when building against 3.
Yeah.
And we tested it. And if you put language version 9 features in a Razor page and try and compile it with Netcore 3, you'll get very random errors because it just won't work.
Yeah, but the fact that we add that doesn't make the Razor compilation use a newer version or older version. It's just using whatever the Razor compilation wants to use on 3. So I believe it was just for when we compile in Visual Studio to see the errors before we compile to 3.1, sorry.
Essentially, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not breaking anything to remove that. But at least we can compile on 6.0.
Cool. And we can start using language version 9 in the C# code rather than the Razor code, which is great.
In the C# code, yeah. You can use it, but not the Razor code. So.
Yeah. But who's going to use it in Razor?
Also, I think we said that we will drop 3.1 targets once we have 6.0, because the only reason to use 3.1 targets is because it's an LTS.
Yeah.
So soon, when they ship 6.0, we'll be able to do C#10 or 9 everywhere. Well, C#9 in this case, because .NET 5 doesn't have C#10, but everywhere. Bootstrap coming soon, agency updates. New HtmlSanitizer, new identity, new MKDocs. Add UsersFolder for media assets.
Sorry, I stepped away from the computer with your question.
How does it work? What is that?
Yeah, that one was old code from the attached media folder. So this handler now handles the attached media file.
But look at this code. File store combine. I assume this return a slash. Oh, this is just to test if the combinator is a slash or not. That's weird. Okay. That's weird. We should just expose the path separator on the interface. File store, okay. users folder. Okay, so there is a folder just for the users. Folders. Underscore users. Media options configuration. Okay, and media options. Assets path. Under, okay. Get user asset folder name. So what's the default? This one, and it says name identifier.
I realise having approved this that we don't get any docs for it, so we get some documentation.
I'm looking into security right now. Just can we have special chars there that will be like slash or dot or a URL. Name identifier.
So that's the user ID.
Okay, that's the user ID. I think we should still validate the result to be sure. Or encode the result in a way that you can't break the path.
Yeah, makes sense.
And encoding that doesn't change anything that is in the common alphabet. Okay.
Should probably point out this doesn't provide secure media files. Files are still available to be served to anyone. This is only an editor to restrict your editors to their own folder.
Yeah, this is just to manage user assets, not to serve, to limit them being served. Just the user can access their folder on that. And how does it look like in the there? Index. So when we look at the admin tries to create it. Okay, and then when we list directories, it doesn't show up if you can't access that. Okay. New features, user folder, new contributor, Bootstrap 5.1 for the admin. Just for, what is the theme here? Don't you remember when we used that?
The SAS recipe.
The SAS is using it on the front end. On the front end, I see. Good, and MK docs, like 3 times a week. Okay, maybe 2 times a week. Oh. Okay. Good. We have a demo from Zoltan.
Yeah, it will be quite small one though. Let me share my screen. Yep, so now I should be able to see it as well. Yeah, is it working?
Yes.
Right, great. So this is about a module that my colleague Christian developed, Orchard Core, that, well, about having a UI kit. So where this whole thing started from is that during one of our client projects, we needed to standardize UI elements, both on the front end and both on the admin area. As I'm talking about text fields, drop downs, stuff like that. And not just trivial ones, of course, but having text fields in a lot of configuration. And once you go beyond the very basics with styling and with functionality, of course, this becomes a bit more complex. And so we figured that, we could just centralize these things and have an open source module about it. Now, of course, there are a lot of UI kits and front-end frameworks out there. This is also building on Bootstrap naturally, and everything else built into Orchard already. So how it looks like is that there is a showcase page built in that you can open, which, well, showcases all the elements that are built into the module. And these are these currently. This is the default styling built on the default Bootstrap styling, but of course you can make it prettier. You can see it goes from basic text boxes to a bit more complex text boxes. Yeah, having a placeholder text and such a required indicator is surprisingly tricky. And text boxes in all kinds of other configurations, checkboxes and drop downs. This can also be a bit prettier if you style it. So, as a contrast, here it is in the context of that unnamed client project, where you can see that, well, it looks a bit different. It probably looks a bit nicer, but nevertheless, of course, there are classes and everything that you can appropriately target. And how this looks from the codes is quite simple to use. It's very natural to use. Everything is just tech helpers. Can you see Visual Studio now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is the code of the showcase page. You see, we just have an editor tag configured for text box or checkbox or dropdown with a couple of parameters added. So pretty much that's it. In itself, it doesn't do much, of course. This is only useful if you are actually building a UI with it. But it was quite useful in our project. So we hope that it can be useful for others as well.
Questions? So these are tag helpers?
Yeah, well, it's
only tag helpers. Are they more than tag helpers?
What do you mean?
Are they, how specific to Orchard are they?
Oh, like that. Actually, I don't think it has too much to do with orchards. Oh, there's probably something with shapes.
There are shapes also.
Yeah, but why are we actually using shapes?
Or maybe it's because by doing that there's a bridge for liquid also.
Probably, yeah, probably just that, because I don't think we use anything from the basic developer actually. Yeah, so it's probably just for liquid.
Okay, and what does the module have also specific to Orchard? Maybe nothing. Is there a startups? Yes.
Oh yeah, well, obviously it integrates with Orchard, and we have the two features for the showcase page and the UI kit itself. But otherwise, I don't think there is too much Orchard specific here. Well, we are building Orchard apps, so it was natural to do it like that, not as a.
Okay, so it provides a set of editors and form elements, HTML elements that you can use as tag helpers on the backend and on the front end to render the same. So is on the admin you create custom pages with that? Because how would you integrate it otherwise with your standard content editor?
Yeah.
Or do you have to create new fields?
Yeah, and good point. First of all, this is more like the beginning. So we needed these fields, but we'll most possibly add a lot more because, of course, this is not everything there is on the web yet. And secondly, yes, this is useful if you want to build your own admin experience. In our case, there are whole sections of the admin area that are completely custom. Some administrator users or users who access the admin side don't actually have to access anything built into Orchard from the admin side, but we needed the proper branding for the whole thing and also to adhere to specific styling guidelines. So this is useful if you want to build your own UI and your own fields and everything, of course. If you're using built-in fields and parts, then well, you would need to override a lot of things.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Topics? Questions? Topics, no questions. Let's look at be done. Subjects. So, what I have in mind is on triage, where's the issue we created? issues. This one. So during triage, someone like 10 people almost from the same company joined to ask questions about a bug they found, and we realized that we've understood the issue, which is that if you deploy Orchard 1.0 using Windows Docker on Azure App Service, talking to SQL Azure, okay, so all the Microsoft stuff, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because there's a bug in SQL client that fails to communicate to SQL Azure when run on Windows Docker. The issue being that the base image of the ASP.NET runtime image, which is Windows Nano Server, doesn't have a specific DLL that SQL client is using. So it won't work. And there is the same issue if you just use EF Core. So I asked them if they could try to use this non-recommended switch from SQL client to switch to the managed implementation of the security.dll instead of the native one, because it's not there in Windows Server, in the Nano Server. And in that case, we could, when we load the drivers, we could just check, okay, are we targeting an Azure database? Is it running on Windows? And are we running in a container? In that case, let's enable this switch and the issue will go away. And I'm okay to do that because it's very rare to run in Windows Docker container. Usually you run in a Linux container, but in Windows Docker container, targeting a SQL Azure database. So that's the minority of the users, the user base, I will assume. So then we could just switch that in this case to trick it. Or maybe we need an environment variable to be able to say that, and that will also work. In this case, they would decide to do that or not, because I assume they don't have to. Yeah, I don't know. That's the way. So that was the triage, something we're looking to. Pull request, anything interesting here to talk about? I saw that Nick Main is trying to integrate SonarQube inside the pipeline, which is, let's open the link. Is there a link here? There is no link. Automatic code review, bug analysis, and some Sonar Cloud and stuff like this for projects. So the idea being that when there is a PR, it would show through code analysis if you have bugs, vulnerabilities, security issues, and code smells. Okay, so it's going on. There are things here I don't like much. We'll see how it goes. Also, what's interesting is that's a comment I made this morning. The current results are 0 bugs, 0 vulnerabilities, 0 security hotspots, and 0 code smells, which proves to me that it just doesn't work, because if it can't find any bug or vulnerabilities or that in our code base, it has an issue. There must be many of all of these based on the amount of code that we have. Okay, and we would all agree that they could find that. Pretty sure there were some tools already that were run on our code base and already exposed some issues. So I want to see how it goes. Also, we can't accept 22 minutes of build time over what we already have today, just to analyze that. So it's fine to do a static analysis at some points, but every time that would be a pain in this case. even more if then it's blocking, like no, you can't add code smells or stuff like this. So that not sure it's so useful to have it on a continuous basis, or as Jasmine is suggesting, to have it as a custom step in the workflow that we can run when we want. So this way it's semi-automated. Like when we want to test things, we can run it. We don't have to do it all the time on every commit. Just if we want to see how if it finds some things that would be interesting. So that's a PR of interest.
We can also use the same thing, by the way, from a NuGet package. Well, almost the same thing. So that way you will actually see the same borings in Visual Studio as well, without adding anything, without installing anything.
I mean, from SonarCloud or something else, because there are lots of. Oh, maybe
yeah,
that's
I'm not entirely sure how it is called. It's Sonar, but I think it's called SonarLinter or something. Under the hood is the same thing.
So, these changes look like some suggestions that SonarQube could return. Yeah, there are some tools do that. Okay. Other things interesting here. Do you have any big things that were waiting? Bootstrap 5 in admin, something we can look into at some point. Elasticsearch, that's important stuff that we need to focus on. It was working. Last time we checked the PR. GraphQL 4, GraphQL.NET 4, but there was a bug in the test, I think. Yeah, I don't see anything. A big rock per se as a PR. Data localization, that's something also that should be pushed for. And that's good. Has anyone seen issues with 1.0 stuff that should have high priority since we didn't do much triage last time? Earthwork, maybe something to look into. So this issue might not be an issue, but I've seen reports that even on multiple tenants, it was using a lot of memory, actually more than what we used to use or what I would expect. So something maybe to look into.
A bit of work ongoing with Image Shark at the moment on the memory allocator.
Okay.
Which may come through soon, which may improve some of that stuff.
Okay. Maybe a rating, yeah. But maybe a rating, maybe not. That's the issue.
It's hard to say, yeah.
But when you have multiple tenants, the way we have the middleware, if each middleware had its own 50K buffer, then that might, and it's not released automatically, that might be an issue. So.
Yeah, and I think currently that buffer will grow. But like I said, may not be related, but looking forward to seeing that come out from them because I think it will improve things, especially in that multi-tenant scenario.
Okay. Support extensibility. Okay, you understand yourself.
Yeah, 2-line change. I just need to remember to do it.
Okay. Good. Okay, so yeah, not big things actually. That's interesting. And not much issues with 1.0. I don't see anything blocking anyone apart from the Windows Docker image.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if people wanted to post on Gitter how many people have actually made the upgrade.
Oh, yes, something I need to do. So, because I'm back. So, for the last meeting, we said move the issues, close and everything. So this, if I don't do them until triage, we'll do it on the triage. Read article. So we tweeted about it, but I need to put a blog post on the ASP.NET Dev blogs. I don't know if the community stand-up talked about it also, or it was in the .NET Foundation news. So this is something definitely we need to do. I will do it. So that's, yeah, communicating about that. And you mentioned what? You said what? You said something?
I was just saying I'd be interested if people posted on Gitter if they've actually made the upgrade.
Yeah, we can ask.
Because it all seems to be going so smoothly at the moment.
Yeah, it's too smooth. That's weird. But I mean, the dev branch was in prod for so long that there were no discovery with 1.0.0. Yeah, that's great. This guy must be clever. He's cool. His name's Sebastian. So yeah, and I was opening that also. It's about Dapper, but now that we have all the things working with cloud services, we really need to implement these distributed tenants that we can create and, well, instantiate and, or have tenants up and down on different nodes of a farm automatically based on some strategy. Something we've talked with Chantieri for a long time. That would be great. Now we have all the things compatible with multiple instances, with the distributed documents and so on. That shouldn't be hard to make. It would be super interesting. I've seen in the chats and Gitter people saying that they have multiple tenants on the site, so I would love to be able to push for this model. It would be great. Okay, topics triage. What did we talk about? Release the post. I think that's it. Questions, comments? Nothing. New sites. Dean, you have to ship new sites now.
Lots of tenants.
That works also. Okay, all good then.
And don't forget the recording, please.
Yeah, well, never forgetting, but now I have internet access, so it should be easier. Thank everyone. See you on Thursday for triage or next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.